Hey, welcome back, everyone. Tom from Park Avenue Trading, your chief dealer, keeping you sane in these insane markets. Well, gave you the euro dollar level yesterday. I said it needed to hold 116.28. We broke down. We have support at 115.80. Now, I'm going to go over something today. Um, I see a lot of stuff out there with some groups talking about how you just look at, correlated currencies like the sterling against the euro, separately. But really, you need to be looking at the euro sterling cross because the euro sterling cross gave you the key that euro dollar could potentially break down and track a little bit lower. So how could it have done that? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to take you over to euro sterling because I've been pointing you out to euro sterling for a while, and this is the levels that I wanted to point your attention to. We had a resistance at 86.72. Euro dollar traded up towards the resistance. The euro sterling cross traded up to like 86.67. That was showing you that we're up, heading towards resistance. We could potentially get a rejection at that point, which is what happened. So a lot of the neophytes out there or the groups that are trying to talk about some mystical knowledge, like you just look at euro and the sterling dollar itself. It's not true. You need to understand the crosses. So you need to understand euro yen and you need to understand euro sterling. Okay, that gives you a better clue of what's happening with the euro dollar itself. So if we look at the cross itself, there was resistance right up here. It couldn't make it. It's still there. All right. It kind of, slid back down through this top. Let's move this top up a little bit. That was the top, the breakout top. Now, this is a 3-hour chart. So if you're looking at a euro dollar recovery, against like cable, you need to get above 86.71. It hasn't happened right now. Now, dollar yen itself is the one that has been actually rallying a little bit. It's sitting right now at 148.20, up off of a low of like 147.25 last night. I did call a long in that last night. I'm very happy about that. I called a long at 148.38, and I just took some partial profits at 148.30 right now. So that's besides the point. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that you need to understand the correlation of the crosses. Now, most of these guys out there or gals, if you ask them to make a cross trade price, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about. And I'm going to be completely candid with you. When I first started my career, when I went to go work for Aldo directly at CNCA, I was his personal assistant before I became chief dealer there. Took a little while before I became chief dealer, obviously. But he would leg into crosses in and out constantly. So he'd have maybe a position in sterling and then do something in dollar Swiss. And then he would ask me, what's my position? And I'd say, well, you're X this in sterling and you're X that in Swiss. And he'd scream, no, moron, I'm in Swiss. I'm in sterling Swiss. What's my price? He was the only guy that ever did that. You leg in and leg out. When I worked at Deutsche Bank, I traded, I was relegated just to the US dollar Swiss desk. And that trader never did anything other than dollar Swiss. We had cross traders that did, Swiss yen or they did sterling Swiss. I was not privy to them, and they really didn't leg in and leg out. They just did a straight cross trade. Aldo was the only guy that was sophisticated enough to actually leg in and leg out of crosses. And it's very important to understand the components of the cross because they actually will lead you into understanding what's happening in one of the currency plays itself. So, for example, euro yen is up right now, but euro yen is up not because euro dollar is up. Euro yen is up because the weakness of the yen versus the US dollar. So, if you're thinking, well, if you just look at the euro yen cross, but you don't understand the components of the cross, you go, "Oh, you can buy euro dollar right now. Euro yen is rallying a little bit." No, you got to look at dollar yen. Got to look at dollar yen. All right, let's move over to good old euro versus the US dollar index. US dollar index is up right now. As we know, it is inverse relationship. That's actually pushing the euro dollar down. This is all due to dollar yen. Dollar yen's rally right now. So dollar yen continues, and right now it looks kind of bid. Right now it's 32 bid, 148.32 bid. We could actually start trading higher here. You can actually see the resistance level of the euro dollar that's would be holding. Okay, so if I come over to here, This resistance level was the level I told you last night that had to hold. In order for the euro to show any type of strength today, it needs to first recover that level. Then it needs to get above 116, say 60. Those are the two levels right now. So we got this low right now. It needs to hold that low. It needs to come back up against, say, the 2830 level. It needs to hold it. Needs to come up through this level, and it's going to meet some fierce resistance up here, right at like 117, the figure. So euro dollar is not really, it's not really the play of the day. It's like the crosses. If you want to be long euro, you could get long euro by buying euro yen, for instance. So go watch my next video where I talk about euro yen and the points that are important in euro yen right now. So um, so that's the points I want to get out to you. I see, like I said, I see a lot of these groups, and I'm going to be doing a boot camp soon because I never really wanted to add another like trading course or anything out there, but I'll do a free boot camp to actually talk about, market structure, how you can have, a downward slope and an upward moving market, how to trade market structure, highs, how to trade lows, 3 bar, type of setups, things like that. We'll talk about trading the open, the Asia, London, New York Open, how they all kind of work together and how we can use just one little formula to determine whether or not, where the resistance and support is. And it works very, very well. And it's proprietary. So I'll be giving that out in the boot camp. Boot camp, I think, is going to start. I think it's going to start on the 26th. I'm going to try to film some stuff on the weekend. It's the end of the summer. I really want to get outside, barbecue, and have fun. But I think this is important because I've seen so much nonsense out there. And I'm not going to name the groups, but the same groups that come up with fair value gaps. Fair value gaps. Never heard of it before in my life. Never. 30 years of trading. Never heard. I never, like I said in my video, like there was no point on time on the desk where we said, oh my gosh, there's a fair value gap on the 5 minute. Let's fade it. It's total nonsense. It's total repackaged marketing nonsense. Anyway, all right. So those are your important points for the euro dollar today. Keep watching that dollar yen. If dollar yen keeps running, euro dollar is going to keep slipping. It's going to head towards that 115.80. That's a short-term support. If it breaks that, it's running to like 115.60, even potentially 115, like the 10 level. So there's a lot of weight on the euro dollar. Everybody was thinking euro dollar breakout, breakout, breakout. It's not over yet. There's a chance that the euro dollar can break out, but it's got a lot of wood to chop. So I'll see you in the next video. And remember, always, always, always enjoy the party, but dance near the door. Cheers.